Hello, my name is Wes Hickey. I'm the chair of the Department of Educational Leadership at the University of Texas at Tyler. And this weekly five, we want to talk about deliberate practice. And we've talked about a number of things and a number of ways to improve STAAR and end of course results, but I think deliberate practice really kind of puts it all into a nutshell. And we've heard a lot about this over the past few years. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called Outliers, in which he discussed how consistent hard work ended up making a lot of the people that we consider great get to that point. And research shows us that being really good at anything that you want to do is accomplished through deliberate practice. And I do think this is an important part of the STAAR or end of course performance. So one of the ways we want to do this is that in lessons on a regular basis, we need to show how everything relates to the STAAR. Take whatever we're learning, that curriculum area, and show it in that STAAR or end of course format. And, a lot of times people worry about this being kind of a boring type situation, that people get too used to it, that students are no longer motivated to do their best. But I think we have to be creative in how we try to motivate them. If you're talking about elementary kids, a lot of times even a sticker or something like that, and we can have different stickers that talk about where they get it or whether they are going through the process correctly. But having on a regular basis them have to work with STAAR type questions in a practice type format is going to be very important. Now, I also think it's more than content. We have to include how to handle these questions. And I know everybody does this at some point, especially right before the STAAR test. But we ought to be doing it day one, because the more they practice in that way, the better they're going to be at being able to handle it. And so some of the things we need to know. What is the question asking, and how do we know? And students ought to regularly look at these questions and be able to say, hey, I know exactly what we're trying to get at here, and this is a section that tells me how I know that this is what the question is actually asking. Or where is the relevant information to answer the question, and be able to find that and have them show you where that is. Or what answer choices at the very end can we eliminate, because usually two of them we can get rid of right away because they don't make sense. And then what are the two most likely choices? And then I think a very big key there is, because sometimes the choice is very close, but being able to determine what is the best answer and why it is the best answer. And again, this is one of those things that I think we oftentimes overlook. We try to do this just a little bit during the year, but because of the concept of deliberate practice, students need to be able to practice this all the time. And some of your students are going to be somewhat intuitive about it, but many of them are not. And we need to make sure that they understand how to work with these questions when they get it on the STAAR end of course exam. Now, we don't want the overall impetus of your classroom to be doing all this testing, and I don't think it has to be. You go into some classrooms, and I've seen many of them where they have many of the end of course or STAAR questions up on the projector, and the students are in a very dull sort of way going through there. And I don't think that's a good thing. We want to have actively engaged students. But what we want to do is that in the middle of it, have an opportunity for them to have deliberate practice on these particular questions. And when I say that, is not only just answer the questions, but go through, and sometimes answering the question is not even that important. We want them to go through the process of how to answer that question, how to manipulate the questions so they know how to find the answer when it comes through there. And it's important because this is basically game day for our students. We want to make sure that they deliberately practice in the way in which they're ultimately going to be held accountable. And at UT Tyler, we want to be a part of whatever you have going on. Let us know what we can do. And remember, inspire and educate. Be architects for human potential.